everyone and welcome to this month's news update. First up, we have the developments from the Emea Region.
In Algeria, the Autorité de Régulation de la Poste et des Communications Électroniques published a new short-range device guidelines detailing a range of characteristics for specific technologies, including the frequency band, maximum power output levels, bandwidth, and in-country applications. The regulation also marks the first time that several technologies have been covered in Algerian regulation, including 13.56 MHz NFC and 77 GHz for automotive radars. A full copy of the regulation is available on the link attached to this video.
In Azerbaijan, following consultations, the Accreditation Centre of Azerbaijan have issued a formal letter confirming that separate EMC certificates must be obtained going forward for all new applications. This is not a change in the regulations per se, since the requirement for a separate EMC evaluation is stipulated in Decree 175 from August 1998, but rather a change in practice, since previously there has been no accredited certification body capable of performing EMC evaluations. Type approval certificates already issued with EMC safety evaluations included on the same certificate will remain valid until their expiration date. At the time of renewal, however, such certificates will need to be split.
The Communications Regulatory Authority of Qatar have initiated a public consultation on class license for short-range devices. Several new bands and/or higher power provisions have been made. Notably, these include non-specific short-range devices around 27 MHz, 24 GHz, and 57 to 64 GHz for movement detection, alert systems in the 14 GHz band, vehicle radar systems in 24.05 to 24.075 GHz, and 24.075 to 24.15 GHz bands. There is also a rationalization of the power limits for inductive applications in 9 to 148.5 kHz band, and an increase of the upper limit of multiple gigabyte wireless LAN from 66 to 71 GHz. Interested parties are invited to submit comments by email no later than the 11th of March this year, and more details can be found on the link attached to this video.
For the Customs Union or EAEU countries of Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Russia, the EEC Council have postponed the effective date for implementation of EAEU 049/2019, covering the requirements for energy efficiency of energy consumption devices until the 1st of September next year. A decision has also been made to postpone the effective date for the EEC Council decree, which sets the forms for labels of energy consuming devices of different types and the rules of their registration, to the 1st of March next year. The full text of the announcement can be found on the links attached to this video, though it is in Russian language only. For those of you who haven't been following the development of these regulations, the EAEU TR 048/2019 was developed to bring a harmonised approach to energy efficiency from a compliance perspective across all the EAEU member states. It defines requirements for conformity assessment, including rules on product classification, general requirements for labelling and the accompanying documents, as well as rules on energy efficiency class determination. As with the current EMC safety and ROS schemes, in order to comply with the EAEU TR 048/2019, manufacturers would have to follow a compliance route via either declaration or certification schemes. A single EAC approval can cover all applicable TRs. However, in certain cases, it would be more beneficial to obtain a separate declaration to cover the specific aspects. Finally, please note that a grace period of 24 months was recently introduced for this standard from the effective date. This means that once the grace period is over, all national level certificates on energy efficiency will be replaced by EAC.
And moving on to the LATAM region now, where we have some new regulations coming into effect this week in Mexico. IFT 012/2019 will be enforced from 26th of February, mandating in-country SAR test requirements for mobile terminal equipment And this new standard is in line with IEC 62209-1 and 2 and prescribes the maximum limits for specific absorption rate of human exposure to RF fields for wireless devices used next to the ear and in close proximity of the body. This new standard is applicable to products operating within the frequency range 30 MHz to 6 GHz and that are used near the head and in particularly near the ear, in the frequency range 300 MHz to 6 GHz and or at a distance less than or equal to 20 centimeters from the human body in the frequency range 30 MHz to 6 GHz.
Also in Mexico, as of the 26th of February, the new regulations come into effect mandating that products subject to NOM 208, NOM 221 and NOM 196, the approval certificates must now be issued in the name of the local Mexican company that will be importing the products into Mexico. Approval certificates can only be shared between companies that are subsidiaries or otherwise formally legally affiliated, and each importer must hold their own test reports. We'll be releasing a video soon covering the Mexican approval requirements in more detail.
And finally, in the APAC region, China's SRC have released a public consultation regarding the 2.4, 5.1 and 5.8 GHz bands for Wi-Fi. The public consultation puts forward new requirements, including mandatory support for IPv6 for all Wi-Fi equipment, the compliance of all Wi-Fi equipment with national level security series standards, and additional technical requirements for the 2.4, 5.1 and 5.8 GHz bands to reduce interference. The new regulation would replace former MIT regulations number 35, 225, 277 and 620 as of the 1st of January next year. A link to the public consultation can be found on the links attached to this video.
That's all from us for this month, but if you have any questions about any of the updates included, then please do get in touch.